Welcome to Goliad Brewing Company. I imagine most of y'all haven't been here before.
We have up to 4 to 5 beers at any given point available, but we've had a total of 9 so far, and our latest beer, Coastal Bend, will make our 10th beer. 2-row barley is the base ingredient of all of our beers, and most breweries are going to be the same. 2-row malted barley is 90 to 95% of every recipe, except for our wheat beers, of course, then it would be about 50% of the recipe. The way you would alter the flavors of the beers, not just with the barley and the types of barley that you use, and the hops, would be the species of yeast that you actually use can alter the flavor drastically. So the fermentation is probably the most critical thing that will affect the outcome of the product. Every batch of beer that we make, we usually run multiple versions of it on our small pilot system, so it makes 10 to 15 gallons at a time. We'll have 3 to 4 going through the pilot system at one time, but when it comes to development, we focus on one at a time. Craft brewers in the state of Texas it's in a state of rapid growth right now, and a lot of competition. It went from just a couple dozen breweries to a couple hundred breweries really quick. When you're a small brewery, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the business side, especially when I was first getting into this part of our business here. We're a production brewery. It's one of those things you think it's going to be mostly brewing, but brewing is a smaller slice of the pie of my life anymore. The seasonal beers that we've done decently with, like Watermelon Goza was a seasonal beer, and next year in 2018 it'll become a year-round beer. I think the market in general is moving away from what was like 4 different seasonal beers because of the distribution demands that places on each product on the time intervals. So we're not moving away from new beers, we're moving away from the seasonal format. We're going to move into what you would call a one-off series, and basically sales will determine the lifespan of beers at that point. We won't be married to the different beer styles. Sometimes when the beer recipes are close to being finished for the pilot system, we do offer some of the patrons here 2-ounce samples. Typically it's based on like the customer. If they're drinking IPAs and other things, then their opinion of a beer that's a little more hoppy would probably be helpful. But some beers are a little bit just for everybody. If we have extra, we'll like pour it up. One of the main hops that we're using in Coastal Bend is a highly sought after hop. It's Citra. So I wanted to use that hop in particular, and I wanted to make a beer that wouldn't necessarily cut into our IPA sales, because we do pretty well with our Redfish IPA. Coastal Bend is an American Pale Ale, and obviously it's named after the part of the state we live in. It's a lighter to medium colored beer, a lighter to medium bodied beer, and a moderate hopping level, so it's not a really bitter beer like an IPA might be perceived. It's a little bit more approachable. With that beer in particular, we plan to do some special promotions for the first ones with each of our distributors that want to do like a pint night type event with us. But also, we're hoping for a real big push with this product, because we think this could be a really good 6-pack beer that would sell a lot in the warmer months of the year.